Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Read-T-Fuss, where I take old stories I've narrated and update into modern audio standards. This particular story is called Nightwater, written by Zellcos. I remember the first time I saw a human, fleshy, slow, and with no claws. I assumed they were weak. I was wrong. We learned that quickly. Growing up in an age of transition was hard. The clans were always at war, always. Blood versus blood, cruiser versus cruiser, mandible versus mandible. The carnage was told by every seer and veteran until each and every war became a placemark in our history. We held ourselves as fierce warriors, and the crimson we spilled amongst ourselves was our threat to the galaxy. The galaxy took notice. Then the council came. The council was a clan of sorts, I suppose. No, the tribes that made it up were of other species. They came to us with ideals, with power, and presence emanating from every word speak, every footfall. They invited us, not with force, but with promises of easier lives, of betterment for our people. We saw this as weakness, not strength. We almost refused, but the council said that they could use our help to hammer other species into docility, and we could prove our worth at the same time. Clan Adega was strong, hard. But had their leader pacified an entire battalion of aliens? It was a challenge any clan leader was keen to undertake. The arrangement brewed competitiveness, while leaving our own blood unspilled. The arrangement was more than to our liking. We became their allies, and the leaders of our clans took up their places amongst the council, with titles too many for this one to name. They were but useless titles anyway. We were great warriors still, but we tempered ourselves, not peacekeepers, but a constant threat. We were being used, to be sure, but the leaders kept the politics away from the clan home, left us to fight for more glory and honor for our respective tribes. It was quite the way to attract mates as well. Eventually, we settled disputes and developed a system, broken as it was. Now and then, there were still mate challenges, but these were personal matters, not issues for an entire clan. The other races allied with us showed us many things, and we grew not as clans, but as a species. And indeed, growing up was hard, but if you gritted your mandibles and charged forward, great rewards followed. This was how I forged myself a shipmaster's title. This is how I found our blood brothers. First contact was scarce. We prowled the Nightwater of space, patrolling for races who had rebuked the council's offers violently. Though, on the outskirts, we didn't think to find many Krogger, with their fat, black horns and their horrendous appetites, much less than a new species. But my ship crew was made up of many good warriors, many sharp wits. We found signs of humanity long before contact, but so did they. We glanced at each other across star systems, searching for each other. Ionic trails were there shouldn't be, broken transmissions picked out in strands, shadows and whispers reflected in ore clouds. And then, of a green moon locked in rotation, we found each other. Looking back, their ships were so small, nothing like now. My ship crew howled for war battle. I found my own mandibles unhinging, ready to strike down Krugger or Jugnagi, or whatever enemies tried to skirt around the council's established Nightwater. But I wasn't shipmaster because I was fierce. I was shipmaster because I was smart. We had to be tempered now, had to be better than ourselves. But what was with this ship? Nothing was supposed to be out here. This was the outskirts. The cold was too immense. Too many asteroids and not enough sun warmth made travel impossible. Sure, if you knew where to warp, there might be something. But without enough fuel to get back, you were jumping straight into a grave. So here was a ship gliding through the Nightwater, not damaged, not with the hull scratches like our ship, like it was normal. And the more I looked at the ship, the more my curiosity grew. The ship's trajectory was wrong. No race identifiers, no kill tallies. And then a realization came. so outlandish and cold I wanted to shove it back as far as I could. The ship's trajectory wasn't wrong. The ship had come out of the black. The shock ripped the thought of attacking from my mind, and I can still feel the silent, cold chill that flooded my veins, like Nightwater itself was filling them. A ship out of the black. The black was where we sent killers and thief-stealers to die. Pirates and even Krogger didn't venture into the black. I quieted my ship crew, told them to hail the ship with the coordinates of a diplomacy outpost, and set a course alongside it. I got many glances and pride jokes, but this was something new, and that meant the council would see them first. What followed was stranger than any encounter so far experienced by my ship crew or my clan. The council established contact, tried to explain its intent, and ultimately failed. Like our race, the humans did not share like minds, telepathy, as some of the other council races did. The council would have to learn the language. My race was the first to establish contact, and so we were tasked with inducting humanity into the council. An honor, I think, that saved us. We taught humanity many things, such as how to shape ionic forces and our techniques for sailing Nightwater. In turn, they showed us many of their own technologies, such as how they used radar pings and cold sleep to sail through the black. We tried, but ultimately it was too taxing a task. Too many ship crews grew afraid of the cold and missed the allure of the sun warmth. The black belonged to the humans, and we were content to let them have it. Humanity's ship stationed in orbit around an outskirt moon, and their language and customs gradually became known to us. The first time I saw a human, I thought them infinitely strange. They had no mandibles, no manes, not even horns as the Krogger did. How did they establish leaders who were strong? When I met one on the colony, I thought them even stranger. They were our size, but still not used to rock gravity. They fell over easily, but laughed and danced inside it as well, as if they liked looking like nestlings. Infinitely strange. What interested us most about the humans was their ability to sit and tinker with their metals and technology. They would spend days focused on tasks, picking apart, putting together. They were insects of the machines. They danced around calculations, improved on Nightwater engines, and pushed us closer and closer to brotherhood. But they were relentless in their ideas and schemes. They tried sailing along the colony rocks with only themselves and the Nightwater sail. They burrowed deep into asteroids to connect them to each other. They were too much to keep up with, and when they grew tired, they nestled for merely hours, not even a cycle, and then they were back up and tinkering again. Our new blood brothers were magnificent, and they were infinitely as curious with us as we were with them. But this, my friends, is when things change. Even with over 600 systems and limitless places to inhabit, the Krogger decided it wanted a new moon for its broodmothers. They sent patrols roaming around the system until they found a council moon, and tore into its resources. The council retreated, and my race was sent to pacify. My brothers and father's ship's crews did not succeed. The humans stayed on their ship, eager not to become involved, and we were content to show off our prowess at war. The Krogger, eager to put an end to our boasting, made a mistake. They sent ships around the core world blockades and ransacked the inner planets, killing, stealing, assaulting, burning. The Krogger reveled in their power. They boarded a human vessel and painted humans on their horns as battle trophies. The council mourned, but concerned with its own safety, forbade us from trying to save our blood brothers. We rebelled, we fought, we reasoned, but the council stood fast. The humans would only be a setback. I forced myself to watch as a Krogger broodmother ate a small human girl on our transmission screen, just to see how it tasted. The girl screamed while she died. We motioned for a relief effort from the council, over and over. Finally, they abated, with the condition the core blockades were reinforced. With the condition met, we sought out the Krogger on the moon, but sent a small battalion to aid the humans. Our warriors flew to the surface, wiping out stragglers and brood mothers who were trying to use the human ship as a feeding ground and an eventual orbital launch platform. Many more of the humans than we thought had survived, hiding, moving, creating illusions. We thought them dead, but they had persevered. Not one, but survived. But what was stranger still was the humans were not angry at us. Indeed, they forgave us. They understood the actions of the Council. As a relief effort, my ship crew and I brought medical supplies to the humans, and what I saw still haunts me. A demolished ship, still thick with gore and flesh. Yet the humans walked in it. They strode through war blood, scraping, reconfiguring, adapting. Their dead lay at their feet, and yet some hummed while they cleaned, a low, solemn, eerie song that haunts my nest sleep to the cycle. Some held their own limbs as they walked through the demolished bays into an aid station. Many a night I cannot shake such visions. The humans were broken, but still alive. It was only later we learned a shocking revelation. The humans, in all of our encounters with them, had not told us much of their history. They had shared their technology with us, but not their past. We knew not where their home was, their people. It was only later we learned that the ship and its entirety of all of them had only been a science team. The humans fled their orbit, returning into the black. Our leader saw this as failure, then left the Council. We had won back the moon at great cost, but an even greater cost was our blood brothers and the guilt that sat in our chests. 2 cycles passed. The Krogger stilled. And then a report that made no sense. The Sword Walker was a fairly large spy ship, with many a great sharp wit on it. A clanmate brother of mine, the captain, even more so. So when I received a report that an entire Krogger system was dying, we prepared ourselves for a trap, or a new war battle. As reports go, it was strange, but we jumped in and came out battle-ready. The Nightwater itself filled my veins, and I tell you now, little ones, never has it felt so cold. I knew the shapes of the ships now. I knew their call signs and language. I could read the words Warpath on the side of the hull. But we had never known war like this. A system, an entire system. The moon's black, the planets white with ash, lines of fire crossing, snaking, and trenching the surfaces of their crusts. Iron trails, made corporeal as wisps of hellfire, fell onto the planet. Oceans screamed, mountains melted, atmospheres bloomed into orange spheres. Lines of fire surged through space towards anything tangible. Comets, nebulae, wisps of dust. Our species' 100-year blood war didn't just pale in comparison. Our wars didn't even exist compared against this. Humanity had returned, and they had brought their warriors. The ship descended on the Council core world. We were happy to know our blood brothers were back. But this was no science team. Armored giants strode out amongst us, with greaves made of polymers and metal, steel plating along their chests, and faceplates made of glass, wearing stone expressions. These were the warriors of humanity, ice cold in their stares, biting with their words, and deliberate in their actions. They had come for revenge, methodical, efficient, and uncompromising. The Council said that it would give them aid while they rebuilt, but we wholly pledged ourselves to our blood brothers. They accepted. It was only later we fully understand the human concept of hate and spite. They were not taking a colony, a nearby moon, or even a planet for colonization. Even 1,000 cycles and 60 systems later, the Krogger were decapitated, exterminated, eradicated, purged. Nightwater, take me. I'm glad I'm smart. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.